Let me open the project. So Lambda functions, I think everyone aware of that. If you have experience in any other programming language, in a single line, we can do a lot of things. So do a lot of things means we can compare something and we can process the data and we can get the result. So that we could have done in just a single line. So whatever will happen in a 3-line, 4-line code, so we can get the same result in just a single line. So such kind of methods we are calling it as a Lambda functions. I think we have used in Java also, C# and C++ also. There was a Lambda functions. So as same like that. So in the Python also we have a Lambda functions. So for that there is a syntax. So we can see that. So in the Lambda functions, so the syntax is we have to use the Lambda keyword. So after that we have to use the arguments, colon, and then the expression. So that expression results, we will get it. So that result we can store it in any variable. So this is the first example they are giving, like one simple expression which will do the addition of 10 value for the passing the parameter as to the variable name a. So lambda is a keyword. So here the argument is just a, and then what is the expression is a plus 10. So it will just do the addition with the a value, and it will return that result to the x. So that the result will be stored in the x. So how to call this lambda expression? So we need to use this variable name x as a function we are calling, and we need to pass the value 5. So this 5 will go to pass in the variable name a. So then it will do the 5 plus 10. The result will return to this method calling. So this is a very simple lambda expression. So let's try in our IDE. Okay, this is the last time we were checking for the args and quarks. So if I just execute the code, so I am getting the 20. So whatever I am passing the value 10, so it will do the addition with that, and it is sending. So if I want to do the a plus b whole square, so I can pass the two parameter a comma b, then a plus b. So I'm just giving one expression. It's not exactly a plus. I'm just doing the a plus b into a plus. Okay. So
actually, you have to pass two parameter in x in printer.
So yeah, I am passing in the wrong way, I think. No,
actually, printer we have to pass two parameter, right?
Yes. So I'm just passing only one value. So I'm passing two values, a and b. So even when we are typing also, it will show. Even when you on hover that lambda function, we will get the complete lambda expression also. What is the parameter we have to pass? So a and b. So this expression result we are getting a 441. So like this, by using in a simple expression, lambda expression, we can do it. If you want exactly do, if you want to do this one, so it will take at least 2 to 3 lines. So we need to calculate and we need to store into one variable. So like that it will happen. Also we need to make a def method and we need to take the parameter in the def method and we need to return the value at the end of the method. So it will take at least 3 to 4 lines, but in just one single line, so we can done this. So here they are checking with the 3 parameters. So summarizing the arguments A, B, and C, the return the results. So there's just doing the A plus B plus C. So the power of lambda is better shown. Why use them as a anonymous function inside another function? Say you have a function definition that takes one argument and that argument will be multiplied with unknown numbers. So it means that they are hiding that lambda expression in inside the function. So then whatever the number they are passing, so they will multiply and they will get the result. So here what they are doing, just they are passing the number and they are making the multiple of 3 times. So what happens with this? We'll check it. So multiplier. So they will call the multiplier with the okay, let's try this, how it works. So this is a one method. So inside this method, so there is a one simple expression. So that is the a into n. So a is the parameter. So we are passing. So and then it will multiplied with n. So here we are calling the method also with the 3. And this is the lambda expression method. So when we are calling this, we have to use the this name and we have to pass the one argument as a. So and this is also calling this method. Inside this there is a expression. So what it will do? So whatever the value of n, it will multiply it with whatever the value of a. A is the argument when we are calling this multiplier. So if I don't call this, so there is no error, there is no value, we are printing. So simply I can't call the multiplier. So it is giving the internal object value. So if I want to call that, so I have to pass the parameter a. So 10 into 3, 30. Okay, let's debug and we'll see. So what is the data type it is creating and how it is working. So I just put the breakpoint in the my function and here in the line number 5. Okay. So first it is called the my function. So in this my function, there is a value 3 for the n. So because we are calling with the 3, so then in the lambda expression, the n value is going to set as a 3. So and it is going to return this a value. So now we can able to see, so this already method is almost executed, right? So that's why, so if we call this multiplier with the 10 value, so what happens? So that resultant value we will get with the multiplier value. So that time again, multiplier method has been called. So in the when the multiplier method is called, so that time there is a value is n value is 3 and a value is 10. So then we get the final result. So here we can see, so there is a 2 times method called my function. So let's redebug again. So when we define this method, so that time also it is calling. So but that time there is no a value. So we are not able to see the a value. So there is just a taking as an expression, and it has been set to the multiplier. Multiplier is a lambda method. So then multiplier lambda expression has been called with the parameter a. So now we can able to see the two values. A value is also we can able to see, and n value also we can able to see. So then this expression, we will get the result a into n. So like this, by using the methods also, we can create a expressions. This we call it as a lambda functions. This is the lambda expressions. So next we'll see the arrays. So arrays we have used in other programming languages also. So arrays are a set of data which we can able to fetch all the values is as like a zeros and ones in the it will start from the zeroth index. Until that we are taking the length as a n minus 1. What is the length of the total array? Minus 1 we used to fetch the last value of the array. So in other programming languages. So in the Python, so there is arrays as like a list only. So there is no difference between the list and arrays. So that's why what they are telling, Python does not have a built-in support for the arrays, but Python list can be used instead. So it means there is not any much difference. Even we can see already we have completed the list concepts in the Python. So this is also array where we have used in other programming languages also. So we used the same structure to store the data as a arrays. So here arrays has been used as a, in the Python we used as a lists only. So list operations we have already seen. So we have a recorded video also. We have executed some example code to access the values and update the values in the list also. In the list. So array is a list of items. So we should know how to access that list of items one by one. So we also access by using the for loop. By using like this for loop also we have accessed the list. So there is no difference. Whatever we have seen in the list, the same concept it will be used, same methods also. To find the length of the list, we use the len function, len, and then that array or list variable name. So then we will get the length of that. So when we want to iterate that, so we use the for loop to make the iteration. So these are already we have executed. So whatever the methods we have used, that same methods is there for the array cells. It means that, so instead of array is like we are in the Python, we are using as a list only. So if you want, so you can execute what are the built-in methods we have executed in the list, that same methods will come. So now, till now, whatever we have seen, these are the procedural oriented programming languages. So I think everyone aware of that. What is procedural oriented programming languages? Procedural oriented means, so it will start executing line by line. So it means we have seen a lot of programs we have executed. So when we are debug the code, so it will start executing line by line. So for example, there is a def method. So this is just a definition. So it will take just as a reference, but it will not execute at the beginning. So because this is a method. So the first line of this program is fifth line. So even if you debug the code, so this is just taking as a reference, but it will not execute. So that's why it skipped the inside line codes. So now the interpreter have the reference of this function. So whenever it is called below, so it will call this method and it will execute all the inside the method, what are all the lines of codes are there, it will execute line by line. So this is the first line it is executing. So in the first line itself, we are calling the method. So that's why it will call that method and it will go to the next line. So that completed that function and it will go to the next line. So like this, step by step, it is executed. So while executing step by step, so we can observe the each variable values also. So what is happening, each variable values will be keep changing. If you are updating the variable values, the variable values are changing. So like this program will be, we used to develop the program in the procedural oriented programming language. So for example, if you want to develop the application for the simple calculator, so directly here we put some one while loop. In that while loop, we ask the user to enter the A and B value, which they want to do the arithmetic operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, all those things. So if you put the code, so once you run the code, line by line, it will check that condition and it will execute the code. Any doubt with the procedural oriented language? Any confusion?
No.
Yeah. You have any question?
No questions.
Yeah, okay. So after procedural oriented language, so there is a concept we called as in other programming languages also we use also currently. So the very more important thing is a object oriented programming concept. We should develop the application with the object oriented only, class based structure only. We should develop the application. So then only our application will be very optimized and very structured code, and also it works very fast. So because in procedural language, what happens if there is a 1000 line or 1 lakh line code in just a single file, so it has to be go through all the 1 lakh lines code when the application is start executing. So but what happens with the class based, object based, we'll see it. So Python is also object oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object. So why they are calling as like an everything is almost as like an object? So because when we are printing the type of the list or type of the tuple or type of the even the float or int, it was showing like a object wise, means float object, like that it was showing. So when we are checking that, so we have seen in the previous classes also. So that's why they are saying like almost everything in Python is an object based. So so now we'll see the concept, what is classes and objects. So class means it is just a blueprint, it is just a prototype. So we know that what is the blueprint or prototype. So let's take a real-time example, anything. For example, we have one prototype of a building or just a model of the building. So for example, if you people want to buy any flat or something in any apartment, they will show the model. So means they will show the complete apartment model. So that is just a we can able to see how it will come. So means where is the room, where is the kitchen, how it will come. So how is the hall, how much balcony will come. So everything we can able to see in just a model. So they might develop that model by using the clay or something, any art or something they use, and they will make the prototype, right? So if you want to see the structure before they are going to build the building, complete building, they will be having the prototype. So they will show that prototype, this building will come like this. So that is the prototype. So that same prototype will be used anywhere, right? So for example, if you want to construct any building or your home only, so you will take a sketch from the engineer. So he will give the sketch. So where the staircase should come. So where the hall should come, dining hall should come, where should be the kitchen. So all the plan he will give. So that plan can be implemented anywhere. So for example, that same plan I can implement in my native to build the house. So if I give to the Arun, so Arun also can use that same plan and he can build his house. Okay. So whatever that blueprint, whatever we are saying, just an example I am giving that for construct the building, construct the house. So we got the sketch from the engineer, that is the blueprint. So whatever we are constructing the house in my native, I am constructing the house, that is the object. So and that again Harun is also constructing the same prototype home in his hometown. So that is also one object. So in the same way, Namrata also constructing one own house. So in her native, so that is also one object. So here you can imagine that. So class is just a prototype. So by using that prototype, we are just creating the objects. So, but what happens here? Each object will be having their own different values, but the common things. So in the prototype, there is a hall, room, and kitchen. So even in my house also it is there. In Arun's homes also it is there. In Namrata's homes also it is there. But what happens? So there might be a difference in the wall color and whatever I have used the flooring tiles. So those are all the different. So different values. So they have a different values, but they should have they are having the kitchen, bedroom, all the things. So in that prototype, whatever it is there, so that same thing is there, but they are having own property values. So in the same way, so in the real-time application, when we are developing the application, so in the same way, we should construct the code like that. So what is the use of this constructing the code in the performance wise also? So we are just creating the classes. So but that code is not going to execute in a procedural oriented. So that is just implementation will be ready, but only when it is called, only when the object is created, only that time it will get used. So for example, we have a blueprint, how the house should be constructed. So Arun also has a plan to construct. I also have a plan to construct. So only when I construct that house, so that time that prototype has been used. So that object has been, when the object has been created, only that time building is constructed completely. Right. So In procedural language, what happens when we don't do like that? So we can only create a methods, but we can't create a class and objects, complete implementation. So the simple way, without any confusion, if you want to understand the very simple way is, class is just a prototype. I have given a very best example also. By using that prototype, we just keep creating the objects. Okay, so let's see how to create a class and object. So straightforward we'll go. So class is the keyword and we should mention the class name. After that, we should use the colon. So in the methods and any if conditional and any loops, we are using the colon at the end. So the same way we have to use, and inside this class, we can declare the variables or we can use the methods. So inside the class, in the programmatic way, what and all will come means, so there is a variables with the values, initialized values, or else there is no any initialized values also. So for that we call it as a attributes. So there will be a methods also. So here there is a init method and this is a variable. So it's not a variable, this is just a initialization method. So this will see. So this is like a constructor. In other programming language, we used to call it as a constructor, but here we call it as a init method. Okay, before this, first we'll check that just by creating a class and object. So how to create a class and how to create an object. So this is a very important concept because whatever you are going to develop the application in the future, it should be a object oriented. Then only your application will be very structured way and it is a very good optimized code. So let's take example. I have one project, which is I'm going to give that project for the college. Okay, so when there is a college, so I want to create a class of college. So this is the way of creating the class, and we should use the indent space to write the code inside that class. So inside the class, I am just giving the class name, sorry, college name. And established here. So I'm just setting the default value. So this is the way of creating the class. So this is just a prototype. So when you write this code, so when I execute that code also, so that will nothing will be created. This variable also will not create. This variable also will not create. So for example, I just debug the code. So let's debug it again. So we are not able to see the variable actually. It means that, so this is just a blueprint. Only when we create the object, that time only we can able to access these variables. These variables will create it. So for example, how to create an object. So to create an object, I need to give one variable name. For example, I am going to give the variable name as a object name. Okay, let's use object name as a obj. So it's a user defined name, so we can give any of the name. Okay. So using the class name with open and close bracket. So we have to use open and close bracket. So then this object will be created. I'll just debug the code. So we can able to see there is no any variables has been created. So this is just a reference. The interpreter has been noted. So there is a class has been created. So now the object is creating. So it means that, so the prototype is there. So now we are constructing the building. So the object is created, but there is no any next line. So that's why it is skipped. So now I am just printing object created. So I will put the breakpoint here itself. So now the object is created, so we can able to see the object. So inside the objects, there is a two variables. So one is the established year and one is the name. Okay, name is the empty. So established year, I just given some integer value, 1991. Okay, so like this, we should able to create the object. So as I given the example, so this is the one object. So for example, we are constructing the home only. And how many rooms and kitchen. Kitchen 2, rooms, number of kitchen 1. So I am creating the home object. So here I am creating Harsha's home, and I am creating Arun's home. So now I will debug. So now my object is created, means it's my home is created, constructed. So then Arun house also constructed. So as per the prototype, there is a values. Kitchen is 1 and rooms is 2. So but I want to change. So from 2 rooms to 3 rooms. So what I have to do, so that object dot rooms equals to 3. So then I will debug the code. So initially my object is created with 1 and 2, room is 2. Then I updated that so that my rooms is now 3. So but Arun object has been created. So this Arun object is having 1 kitchen, 2 rooms. Okay, so like this. So this is the blueprint and this is the object. So like this, we should create the class and the objects. So like this, we should use the objects. So what happens, how it is the use means, so instead of the procedure language creating a single variable, and it takes a lot of time. For example, if I want to create a Harsha object, it will give under the Harsha object, I will get these 2 variables. Otherwise, independently, I have to declare the variables. So like that, it will be completely structured way. So that's why the advantage of the object-oriented programming language. So in the same way, we can create n number of objects. So there is no any limit like that. So we can create any number of objects. So, and there is a init method. So this is like a constructor. If anybody know about the constructor in your previous programming languages, you should be aware of that. So constructor is nothing but this is just a method. So what happens when that object is created? So that time this method is been called. I'm just printing my home. So my home is created. My home is it's printing 2 times. So why it is printing 2 times? Can anybody answer? So if you're not interactive in the class, I am not understanding whether you are understanding the concepts or not. So you're not asking any questions, any of.
No, actually, I'm not like it should print only one time, right? Because it is init method.
Mhm. Yeah. Hello.
Why it is printing 2 times?
Yeah, there is a 2 objects we are created. So in the C#, you are creating the objects by using the new keyword, right?